Okay, picture this. It's 7 in the morning, your alarm goes off. What's the very first thing you do? If you're anything like me, or pretty much everyone else, you grab your phone. You check notifications, you start scrolling, and boom. Before you've even gotten out of bed, your brain is already overwhelmed. And if you often feel kind of tired, unmotivated, or you just can't seem to focus on anything for more than a few minutes, I really want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not lazy. Your brain is just, well, it's a little broken. But here's the good news. It is absolutely fixable. This feeling you have isn't some deep personal failing or character flaw. Nope, it's a neurochemical problem. And today, we're gonna figure out exactly what it is, and more importantly, how to fix it. Let's go back to that morning routine, right? You wake up and the very first thing you do is reach for that phone. You dive headfirst into this endless river of notifications, emails, and social media posts. And what's the result? You start your day already feeling drained, distracted, and maybe even a little behind. Yeah, I'm willing to bet it does. And there's a very specific scientific reason this cycle feels so impossible to break. It all comes down to one tiny but incredibly powerful molecule in your brain. Okay, so let's get into the science of it. We need to talk about dopamine. Now, you've probably heard of it, right? But I promise you, there's a massive misconception about what this chemical actually does.
Most of us think of dopamine as the pleasure molecule. You know, it's the chemical that makes you feel good when you eat a piece of cake or get a compliment. But that's not the whole story, not even close. The real story is so much more interesting. So here's the truth. Dopamine isn't about the pleasure of having something. It's the molecule of more. It's the chemical of anticipation. It's that feeling of wanting, of seeking, of being on the hunt for a reward. It's what drives you relentlessly to pursue things.
And to really wrap your head around just how powerful that drive is, we've got to look at a classic and, frankly, a pretty disturbing experiment. So scientists put a rat in a cage with a little lever. Every time the rat pressed the lever, it sent a tiny jolt of electrical stimulation straight to its brain's reward center, which triggered a huge release of dopamine. Well, the rat figured this out pretty fast, and then it did something completely shocking. It stopped eating, it stopped sleeping. It did nothing but press that lever over and over and over until it literally collapsed from pure exhaustion. And here's the part that should send a little chill down your spine. For us, in the modern world, your smartphone is that lever. Every swipe, every refresh, every notification is you playing a slot machine, hoping for another tiny hit of that dopamine. So what's the actual problem with this? I mean, what happens when you're constantly pressing that lever all day, every day? Well, something pretty dangerous starts to happen to the chemistry of your brain. Our world is just flooded with sources of what you could call cheap dopamine. These are super stimuli that give us an unnaturally high and easy reward. We're talking about the endless scroll on TikTok, sugary junk food, addictive video games, you get the picture. And just look at the difference on this chart. It's not even a fair fight. The dopamine you get from normal, healthy stuff, like reading a book or having a good conversation, is completely dwarfed by the massive spike you get from these modern inventions. Your brain just wasn't designed to handle this kind of stimulation. So what does your brain do? It's smart. It tries to find balance. It basically says, whoa, this is way too much, and it starts to lower your baseline sensitivity. This is what we call the dopamine deficit state. And what it means is that now normal life starts to feel boring. Reading a book, going for a walk, even just talking to a friend, they can't compete anymore. They don't give you enough of a hit to feel rewarding. So let's be really clear here. You are not weak-willed. This isn't a moral failing. You have quite literally entered a state of being chemically addicted to distraction. Your brain's wiring has been changed to crave those intense highs, making it ignore the simple pleasures of life.
Okay, so how in the world do we fix this broken system? We need a hard reset. We need what's called a dopamine detox. And look, this isn't about becoming a monk and living in a cave. It's about a short, sharp, 24-hour intervention to recalibrate your brain. The plan itself is simple, though I'll admit it's not easy. For just 24 hours, you cut it all off. No phone, no computer, no music, no sugary junk food. Basically, no external stimulation at all. It's just you and your own thoughts.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. That sounds awful. That sounds incredibly boring. And you know what? You're right. It will be. But that boredom, that's not a side effect we're trying to avoid. It's the entire point of the exercise. Let me be perfectly clear about this. You're going to feel extremely mind-numbingly bored. But you have to understand that feeling is the medicine. It's the sign that your brain is finally starting to heal itself. Because here's the magic that happens when you finally embrace that boredom. Your dopamine receptors, they begin to reset. By starving them of those constant super stimuli, you actually lower the bar for what your brain considers fun. And all of a sudden, reading a book starts to seem interesting again. Tidying up your room might actually feel satisfying. You are restoring your brain's natural, healthy baseline. This whole process, it transforms you. You go from being the rat in the cage, just mindlessly pressing a lever for the next unsatisfying hit, to being a human who is back in control of your life. Your focus comes back because the real world, in all its simplicity, becomes interesting again. And you know what the best part is? It only takes one day to kickstart this entire process. Just 24 hours, that's it. It's such a small investment for getting your own mind back. So, here's my challenge to you. I want you to actually try it. Pick a day, maybe this coming Sunday, and commit to it. A full 24-hour dopamine detox. Just see how you feel on the other side. Because at the end of the day, it really all boils down to this one simple but incredibly powerful question. Are you going to keep being the rat in the cage, driven by an endless chemical loop that never really satisfies you? Or are you ready to take back control? The choice is yours.
Don't let this insight fade away. To help you remember, I've designed a specific visual anchor for this episode. Grab the infographic from the link below and put it where you can see it. And if you want the full operating system for your mind, get the Happy Hacking book on Amazon. Join the movement by subscribing, and I'll see you next week with another hack. Now, click here to keep upgrading your brain.